In today's exploration of cybersecurity tech news, we've all seen the pictures coming out of Ukraine of normal, ordinary people taking up arms, making Molotov cocktails to defend themselves from the advancing Russian forces. But what you probably haven't heard of is the IT Army of Ukraine. Set up just a few days ago by the Ukrainian government, it's made up entirely of volunteers. Volunteers which aren't just Ukrainians, but people all over the world, with one mission: to disrupt the computer systems of Russian organizations and the Russian government itself. In this video, I want to explore how Ukraine's IT army came into existence and the other hacktivist organizations working alongside them. So how did this IT army come to be? Well, in a recent video, I reported on the Ukrainian government openly calling on the hacker undergrounds to defend against Russia, pleading with cybercriminals to put their skills to good use and volunteer for the Ukrainian military cyber unit. Judging from the Google Forms application page, they were looking for people with skills such as social engineering, malware analysis, and threat intelligence. Well, I can only imagine they were absolutely overwhelmed with responses, because the day after this form went live, on day 3 of the invasion, a Ukrainian government official tweeted, "We are creating an IT army. We need digital talents. We continue to fight on the cyber front." He links a Telegram channel, and this has essentially become a hub for the Ukrainian government to dish out operations to the over 270,000 people that have joined. And before we go any further, I need to make it crystal clear, as per YouTube's community guidelines, I am not encouraging you to join in on the operations and involve yourself. I'm merely documenting what's going on here. So let's proceed. Their very first post says, Task 1, we encourage you to use any vectors of cyber and DDoS attacks on these resources. They then list a bunch of targets: Russian corporations, banks, and state organizations. Notice they're translating a lot of their posts into English for IT specialists from other countries. This raises some interesting questions, as they're obviously encouraging people from outside Ukraine to get involved. Now, non-Ukrainians taking part, of which there will be many, are effectively breaking hacking laws in their home countries. And what happens if a damaging hack is traced back to someone in a Western country? Will Russia see that as an act of aggression carried out by that country? Who knows? We're in uncharted territory here. I've been in this Telegram channel for a few days now, and every few hours a new list of targets is published. Here, they're listing a bunch of Belarusian websites. A few hours later, results. Many of the websites were knocked completely offline. But at the end of the day, DDoSing isn't hacking, and taking random websites offline just isn't going to end the war. So what's the real goal here? Well, it seems to be as simple as cause as much chaos and inconvenience as possible. Just like many Russian sports teams have been banned from competing in tournaments, and many companies like Apple have promised not to do business within Russia, screwing with Russian websites is yet another thorn in Russia's backside. This cyber guerrilla warfare isn't going to change anything on its own, but perhaps all the inconvenience cumulatively adds up and gets the attention, maybe not of Putin himself, but rather ordinary Russians. But it isn't all just DDoSing. A bug bounty website, Hackproof, has launched an interesting bug bounty program on behalf of Russian companies and government organizations. They're encouraging people to find critical vulnerabilities in Russian hosting providers, telecoms, aerospace, infrastructure, and so on. Their list of steps to get involved is simple. Select a Russian propaganda or infrastructure website, find critical vulnerabilities, submit a report, and then Hackproof will use their contacts to get the vulnerability into the good hands of Ukrainian cyber forces, who can then use those vulnerabilities in their own anti-Russian operations. So far, over 300 reports have been made. Now, bug bounty programs often have monetary incentives, but this is purely voluntary. Other than this bug bounty program and the IT Army of Ukraine, several hacktivist groups have joined the fight. I've covered several attacks from Anonymous here on this channel, and there's always some confusion in the comments whenever the topic of Anonymous comes up, so I just want to make it crystal clear. Anonymous is not a group in of itself. Anonymous is just a label hacktivists use when they don't want to create a group identity of their own. Think of it as an open source brand that anyone can use, and so 2 anonymous hacks could have been carried out by completely different people who might not even speak the same language. However, there are some hacktivist groups with their own unique identities which have joined the cyber front. Here's a list of all of them that we know of. I'll of course link the source for this list in the description, and you'll notice most are on the pro-Ukrainian side, but some are pro-Russian. In fact, I recently interviewed 2 groups on this list, the pro-Russian group, the Red Bandits, and the pro-Ukrainian group, Against the West. Now, I'll have a full video on those interviews coming soon, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that, but I wanted to give you a quick bio of the pro-Ukrainians, and more importantly, the people behind it. Against the West, or ATW, is a pro-Ukrainian and pro-NATO group. I realise the name is kind of confusing. They aren't against the West in a literal sense, but after pwning an organisation, they'll say, you were targeted because you're against the West. That's the idea. The group of 6 was founded after they lost their jobs due to COVID. Now, they were careful with what they told me, but several of their members have experience in working for Western intelligence agencies. However, they insist that they are not actively state-sponsored. In the past, they've focused on targeting China. However, since the war in Ukraine kicked off, that's where they've been focusing their efforts, targeting large Russian companies and leaking numerous data dumps to their Telegram channel. In the past day or so, they were suspended from Twitter and have since rebranded under Blue Hornet. This whole cyber situation is incredibly strange. Government-backed cyber operations have always been top secret, but now we have Telegram channels run by governments listing enemy targets and saying, give them hell. We really are breaking new ground here. If you find these updates on the Ukrainian situation useful and insightful, do make sure to drop me a sub, as I'm putting these updates out every 2 days now. This video was made possible by PlexTrac, the cybersecurity reporting and workflow management platform that empowers continuous assessment and effective collaboration between teams to ensure you win the right security battles. Create assessment reports in half the time and collaborate throughout the remediation lifecycle. Centralize your remediation efforts across all scans, assessments, and audits with powerful risk visualizations, scanner and ticketing integrations, and enhanced analytics. Communicate risks clearly across your team and in real time, working more efficiently and effectively with PlexTrac. You can claim your free month of the PlexTrac platform exclusively for Satonic viewers, using the link in the video description. As always, thank you for watching, and you know the drill, tickle that notification bell and follow me on the Instagrams for behind the scenes update, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.